Evening. Welcome to Wednesday guided meditation session at Vajrayana Institute. And I'm Wai Cheong. This evening, I will continue my exploration of the different types of objects of meditation. So, for the past few sessions, I've been introducing different kinds of objects that we can use as a support for our attention during meditation. By that I mean we can return our attention to all these different objects and allow our attention to rest on them. And the different objects of meditation, such as using the breath, using loving kindness, or visualization, and so on and so forth, they also have different kind of effects on our mind, on our body. And over time, we can select one that is most appropriate and most helpful for us. So today, the first object of meditation, we're going to revisit the breath, breathing, mindfulness of breathing, which is a very common object to use. And we can explore maybe a few variations here and there, and how to make good use of this particular object or support of meditation. Very often, especially in my own case, when I first start to learn to meditate, the instructions I received often are to focus on a particular spot of the body to observe the breath. It could be around the nostrils, or it could be at the abdomen. So it's almost like we localize the breath sensations at a particular place in the body and rest our attention only at that place to observe, to be aware of the sensations of the breath. And that has of course, there's certain benefits, but tonight I thought we can try something a bit different. After all, breathing is a very important function and activity of the body to keep us alive. And as the whole body is in one way or another connected, you will find that it is possible to notice, to detect breath sensations in many parts of the body, not just around the nostrils or not just at the abdomen or the chest. In fact, you can find subtle sensations associated with breathing or respiration in a lot more parts of the body. Some are really subtle and some are pretty obvious, actually. And one advantage of broadening the scope, allowing ourselves to make use of any sensations associated with the breath as a support, is we get to have more choices at any point of time. They're bound to be some part of the body. At some part of the body, we'll be able to detect that rhythmic sensations we come to associate with the breath. And also, in so doing, we also allow us to be in touch with the state of our body. We can inquire and get to know how our body is feeling, how our body is doing in this session. And by broadening the scope for detecting breath sensations, they also allow us to diffuse the sense of focus. Quite often, when we use the word focus, it naturally invoke a kind of tension in us. We try to somehow narrow down our focus. We try to somehow squeeze or tighten in a way, trying to improve our concentration. Now, that subtle tensing and tension is actually quite detrimental to the whole process of settling down into meditation. It's a form of both physical and mental agitation that will come to disturb the peace and the ease of our meditation. So as much as possible, we want to discharge, release those tension, those tensing, those very subtle kind of struggle and contractions. We want to release that. Yeah. And so in relation to the breath, a good way is to not dictate particular spots that we need to focus on. Instead, allow the mind to stay within the body, and to detect the great variety of breath sensations that we might find here. And so that also increased a kind of interest. We can become like a journey of discovery to notice all the different subtle sensations associated with the breath. The other thing with the breath, quite commonly, some of us will notice that once we become aware of the breath sensations, there's a tendency to interfere with the natural rhythm of the breath. It's not something that we can help ourselves. It just naturally happen. And in certain cases, can be quite serious. We feel that we are no longer able to breathe naturally or comfortably. That kind of conscious interference become a bit disturbing. And that is also quite normal. And the way to deal with it is not to, again, try consciously to release that control. It's almost impossible to do that consciously or deliberately. Instead, rely on the out breath each time when we breathe out. Simply say the word release in our mind as a reminder. We are not dictating what to happen. We are simply reminding our system, reminding our body that it can release, reminding our mind that it can release. Not to worry what exactly they are releasing, when it's going to happen, to what extent it will happen. And embedded within the word release can also be the reminder that when the conditions are right, maybe our body is ready to take back the control of the breathing, the rhythm, the mechanism, and separate it from our conscious awareness, so that our body can just breathe naturally and easily. And even though we are aware of the breath sensations, we are not actually interfering with the natural process of the breath. And all it takes is this very gentle, constant reminder of the word release on the out breath. Okay, so let's give that a try. I'll guide you through this and we'll see what happens. So take a few moments, find a suitable posture for our body. Feel free to adjust, move a bit, especially for our back, to find a really comfortable, supportive position for our back to be upright. If we are sitting on a chair, sitting on the floor, on a cushion, and if we are lying down on our back in the supine position, then make sure that the back is straight. See if we can adjust the body to find a stable posture, one in which our body will feel that it is well balanced and well supported. Rest our hands and arms on some physical support. Could be the lap or the knees if we are sitting. Or you can rest the arms and hands on the floor beside us if you are lying down. By supporting the arms and hands, we allow our shoulders to be relaxed during the meditation. We don't have to somehow tense up the muscles of the arms or shoulders in order to hold them up. As for the eyes, I usually suggest people to feel free to close the eyes completely if that is easier for them. Or if you are used to meditating with your eyes opened or half opened, then that is also perfectly fine. Resting our body in this posture, give it a few moments to get used to the posture, to get accustomed to the posture, and to find its way into a most comfortable, stable position. Resting the body in the posture, see if we can become aware of the different sensations present in the body. In particular, see if we can highlight to ourselves those sensations that are associated with the breath, with breathing. Commonly, we notice sensations around the nostrils, where we can feel the air flow in and out of our body. We may notice the movements of the chest, expanding and contracting with each breath. Some of us may notice the movements at the abdomen, rising and falling as we breathe in and out. But see if you can refine your attention, almost as if you are leaning closer, paying closer attention. See if you can detect breath sensations, that familiar rhythmic movement of the breath in other parts of your body. From the nostrils, air flow in, up the sinuses, down the throat. Maybe you can detect some of the breath sensations along this path. From the throat into the chest, there are the familiar movements of the chest as we breathe in and out. And how about breath sensations at the shoulders? The movement of the shoulders following the rhythm of the breath. And also notice how far down both arms are you able to detect the rhythmic movements of the breath. Do you detect it at the shoulder joints? Maybe in your upper arms? Maybe you can send it further down in your forearms. Maybe all the way down into the hands, checking as you go. Of course, there is no right or wrong answer, merely refining our attention to be more attuned to the sensations of the breath in the different parts of our body. From the chest, moving our attention downwards, detect sensations associated with the breath at the abdomen. Are we able to notice that rising and falling movements of the abdomen as we breathe in and out? And not to worry if we are not able to detect any of those sensations. Simply gently pay attention and have a look. And how about the back of the body? Are we able to detect any sensations associated with the breath in the back of the body? At the upper back, at the middle back, and at the lower back. Allow attention to gather at the pelvis, the pelvic region, and checking to see if we notice any sensations associated with the breath in this part of the body. Extend our attention to the lower half of our body. See if we can detect any sensations associated with the breath in this part of the body, however subtle they may be. And now that we have taken this brief survey through our body, trying to notice, get in touch with breath sensations, see if we can make some of those sensations of the breath the support of our attention, inviting our mind, our attention to come back here and now and rest on these sensations of the breath. Coming back to the changing sensations of the breath throughout our body, allowing ourselves to notice the various different sensations of the breath, allowing ourselves to notice the in-breath and the out-breath. And each time we notice an out-breath, see if we can, in our mind, very softly and gently say the word release as a reminder. Breathing out, be it a long breath or a short breath, is an opportunity to release. We breathe out and release the carbon dioxide, the stale air in our lungs, and maybe something else, experiences, reactions that are unhelpful or unwanted, may also flow away with the breath. Coming back to here and now, reconnecting with some of those sensations of the breath within our body. See if you can do not feel frustrated or upset if we notice that our attention has wandered off elsewhere. That's a very normal thing for our mind to do. And each time we notice that, it is an opportunity for us to return our attention, come back to the support, which is our breath sensations. Reconnecting with those breath sensations. And on the out breath, remember to release. inviting our attention to come back here and now, to reconnect with some of those breath sensations in the body. Breathing out, remember to remind ourselves to release. Inviting our attention to come back here and now, expand the scope of our awareness to let in the different kinds of sensations of the breath we can notice within the body. Being open to the changing sensations of the breath, following the in-breath and the out-breath, deepening the sense of release each time we breathe out. See if we can help our body and our mind to really come back here and now, to settle more and more comfortably into the posture, into meditation. Coming back as we tune into the breath sensations, you will notice that we can't help but notice other bodily sensations, areas of tension and tightness, areas of relaxation and softness and looseness. Being in touch with all these other bodily sensations and breathing out, reminding ourselves to release. When release happens, and when the body let go, tightness and tension, see if we can also take in and notice any pleasant sensations that arise. Pleasant sensations that arise from such a physical release. Welcome those pleasant sensations into our meditation. Be aware of them alongside the sensations of the breath. Those tingling sensations, sensations of relief, of ease and comfort. Welcome them into our meditation. So coming back again and again, to here and now, reconnect with our support, the breath sensations throughout the body, allowing ourselves to notice the in-breath and the out-breath. Notice the other bodily sensations accompanying the breath. Notice the various feelings, pleasant or unpleasant, that might be here. And as always, on an out-breath, to remind our body, our mind, as well as ourselves to release. And then finally, check in on how your body is doing at the end of meditation. See if you can highlight to yourself any pleasant experiences, any parts of the body that feel particularly comfortable, at ease, relaxed, or acknowledging any areas of tension and tightness and contraction or discomfort. Check in also on the state of our mind, the quality of our attention. Is the mind feeling a bit sleepy, drowsy? Is the mind still very active? Lots of other thoughts or images flowing through the mind? Or is the mind relatively calm, at ease, at peace? We highlight any positive experiences that come out of the meditation so that we can dedicate it. We can dedicate that it may stay with us, that it's able to linger in our body and mind, and to continue to benefit us long after the meditation is over. So there is meditation using breath sensations as a support, but instead of localizing the breath sensation at a particular spot and insist that our attention only observe the breath at that particular spot, this has a more expanded scope of awareness. Any part of the body, any breath sensations that somehow manage to catch our attention, that can be our support. We can come back to that or others. So maybe we may find that at different points in the meditation, we are aware of the sensations of the breath at different parts of the body. That's perfectly fine. Because alongside with the breath, we naturally notice the body. And each time we remind ourselves to release, we can help the whole body to gradually release any unnecessary tightenings and contractions, so that physically we can settle down and be more and more comfortable in meditation. Having a broader object also means there are more things to interest our mind, more things to engage our attention, because always there's something happening somewhere in the body. alongside with the breath. And it can really, also for me, not having to focus on a particular sport, it's convey a more relaxed attitude, a more inclusive attitude. And that really helped me to let go a lot of those struggle and tightenings and tension. So that is the first object of meditation for this evening. The second one I thought to introduce a little bit unusual. Also, because it's quite subtle, it can be quite difficult. But I think once we are able to find a way to help us work with it, it's actually quite an enjoyable object of meditation, and that is to use our consciousness or mind as the object of meditation, as the support. Of course, in this case, using the mind or consciousness or awareness as the support doesn't mean we need to look for it and somehow stare at our mind or stare at our consciousness and keep staring at it in order to continue meditating. That's not the way we do it. What we do it is by settling back and allowing ourselves to be that consciousness, to be that mind, to be that knowing. And in the process of being that knowing, that mind and consciousness or awareness, we become aware of the functioning of the mind itself. Often in meditation, we are more preoccupied with the object, the things that appear to our consciousness, the things that appear in our mind. And we are so used to focusing on them, noticing them, doing things to them. But we tend to ignore, or we are less aware of the subject, the subjective mind, the consciousness, that knowing faculty that is actually here, that allow us to be aware of all these things happening. So we are shifting the emphasis away from the object and back to the subject. But we are doing it in a very relaxed way in order not to, we don't have to do some kind of mental gymnastic, and try to turn our attention around to look for the mind. That is not necessary. Instead, the way to approach this meditation is simply to allow ourselves to settle back and adopt a slightly different mode of knowing. And usually I use listening as the analogy. Becoming a listening space is what I often describe. Is we settle back, relax, and just be present and just quiet down and open and receptive to receive the sound that come into it. So as the sound appear, automatically we are transformed into a listening space where something that is open and they welcome the sound to come into the range of our awareness. And as the sound appear, it is automatically known and noticed, and we are aware of the sound. So there's no effort needed. It's just a matter of settling back and just be this listening space. Of course, we don't stop there. Within this so-called space, which is not a physical space, we also start to notice other things, like bodily sensations, breath sensations, alongside with the sound. Of course, if you have eyes open, then visual objects also appear in this space. And before long, thoughts appear in this space. Thoughts in the form of mental images, in the form of inner speech, inner dialogue. Feelings arise, pleasant feelings, unpleasant feelings, all appear and are known within this, what I sometimes, instead of listening space, I call our aware space. This aware space is actually my description of consciousness or mind. And so we just need to settle back and just get acquainted with our own aware space. Of course, at first we maybe notice the different objects and experiences that's passing through our aware space. It's harder to notice the space. It's easier to notice the traffic, the things that's coming and going and appearing and disappearing. It's a bit like a fish swimming in water. We assume that the fish is not so aware of the water that it resides in. Of course, be aware of the different things happening in the water. So we are swimming in the space of our awareness, of consciousness. We are more aware of the objects that is appearing in it. And that's fine. That's what we all start with. But as we settle in and be more comfortable and relaxed and get used to this mode of meditating in a listening mode, so to speak, not so long, maybe soon you start to be aware of the space, the space that surrounds the sound, the space within which the sound reverberates, or the bodily sensation seems to appear and disappear. The breath sensation seems to move through this space. The space starts to become more and more obvious to us. There's a kind of spaciousness. Alongside with the spaciousness, there's also a growing awareness that once things appear in this space, they are noticed, they are known. There's the function of knowing, of being aware. And the two things, spaciousness and knowing, are actually the Buddhist definition of consciousness. Consciousness is that which is usually it's called clear and knowing. Clear, I interpret it as that space that allow for different experiences to appear. And knowing, of course, is the faculty of consciousness, the faculty of knowing, of being attentive, of noticing, being conscious. Yeah. So it all sounds very abstract, I know, but let's just do the meditation and just see what we discover. There's nothing to strive for. It's just, in fact, it's best to not strive for anything, but just allow ourselves to settle back, be comfortable in our meditation posture, be comfortable to just be here as this listening space and see what happens. Okay. So let's once again adopt a suitable meditation posture, sitting, lying down, and take care to ensure that the back or spine is comfortable in this posture, that the posture has not introduced any unnecessary tension or discomfort into our back or spine. There's no need to deliberately contract the back muscles to somehow straighten the spine, to make it more rigid. Instead, simply allow the body to move around a bit, to just find the most comfortable, natural position for it. Resting the arms and hands on the support. And feel free to close your eyes completely if that's helpful, or leave them open. Become aware of sensations coming through at the points of contact between our body in this posture and the seat, our body and the ground. Become aware of sensations representing solidity, firmness, and stability beneath us. Sense that our body is resting on the surface or support that is very stable, solid, and the whole body is therefore well supported in this posture. There is a sense of balance and safety. So rest our body in such a posture. Before we transition to the actual meditation of being a listening, aware space, let's take a few more moments just to help the body settle down, to be at ease in this meditation posture. Briefly, starting from the crown, allow our attention to come back here, to check in on the body. Notice sensations as you go. Notice sensation at the crown. Notice sensations at the face. Are you tensing up the muscles of your face? And if you are, see if you can gently release some of those tensions in the face. Maybe relax the muscles at your forehead or the muscles around the eyes, the muscles of the jaw. See if you can welcome in a feeling of softness, ease, and comfort into your own face. Moving downwards, be aware of sensations in the neck, in the shoulders. Continue down the torso. Notice sensations at the chest and the abdomen. Be aware also of sensations at the back of the body. Moving down to the pelvis, notice the sensations at the pelvic region. Feel the weight of the pelvis resting on your seat. And see if you can gently surrender the weight to its support, to gravity. Continue down both legs. Notice the sensation in the legs, from the hips, moving at your own pace, past the knees, and all the way into the feet, into the soles of the feet, so that you are aware of sensations here, aware of the touch of the feet against the floor or whatever support they're on. Allow the body plenty of time to adjust, to find its way into the posture, to become more and more comfortable in this posture. Now I'm going to direct your attention to your faculty of listening. I will ring the bell 5 times as a set. And all you need to do is to sit back, settle back, be open, receptive, and listen. Shifting to a listening mode, become aware of other sounds, the sound of my voice, the sounds in your surroundings, without us having to do anything active. We simply settle back, open up, and be present here and now, and listen. And as I ring the bell, a second set of 5 times, see if you can appreciate the sense of space within which the sounds reverberate, travel across distance to appear here and now for you, to be heard by you. So appreciate the quality of space together with the sounds. So let us settle back into our meditation and just be this listening, aware space, open, spacious, receptive, welcoming the different sounds. Alongside the sounds, we will also become aware of other things. Bodily sensations appear within this aware space of ours. Tensing, relaxing, hardness, softness, accompanied by feelings, comfortable feelings, uncomfortable feelings. See if we can also be that listening space, listening aware space to all these different sensations alongside with the sounds. At any point during the meditation, we may notice that our attention is distracted, so to speak. We may be lost in thoughts, attention drawn elsewhere, involved in thinking, remembering, fantasizing. Not to worry, as all of these are very normal activities of the mind. And when we recognize it, we realize it, we simply settle back, come back here and now, and once again be that listening aware space. Coming back again and again to here and now, reminding ourselves to just come back and listen, opening up, become a spacious awareness within which there's an awareness of sounds, of body sensations, even breath sensations. There's also awareness of feelings, pleasant feelings, unpleasant feelings. And while we remain this open, spacious awareness, we may also notice thoughts arising within it, thoughts in the form of mental images, some inner dialogue, inner commentary, inner speech. All of this can be listened to, attend to, and been aware of within this vast, boundless, aware space of us. Resting here and now, inviting our attention to come back to the present moment, to open up and just be this listening, aware space within which we are able to notice many, many things, different experiences, sounds, sensations, pleasant, unpleasant feelings, thoughts. See if we can get used to and be this aware space. Notice the spaciousness surrounding the different objects. Notice the faculty of knowing, of being aware. So much so that whenever an object appears, it is also simultaneously known and be aware of. This is our aware space. So there's the meditation on our mind, or consciousness. I should say, meditating as an aware space. Not to worry if it's not quite sure what this aware space is. The mind and consciousness is so close to us. It's with us every moment. It's that which is performing the function of knowing. So it's really hard sometimes when something is really close, like right under our nose, so to speak, for us to detect it and for us to identify it. So it will take a while, but nonetheless, this is when we are able to, you can see as yet another object we can make use of as a support for our meditation. All right, thank you very much for your attention this evening. I wish you have a good week ahead and hope to see you here again next week. So good night.